Well, let's bring you this story now. Former Cape Town Mayor Patricia says she wants to disrupt the current state of politics. The 67-year-old has named her new party, simply calling it Good. She insists Good is not a duplication of the Independent Democrat. Well, she joins us in studio now, having launched the party yesterday. Good morning, Ms. Lille. So talk to us about the colours. I mean, as soon as I saw those colours on TV yesterday, I was immediately taken to the Independent Democrats. Are you struggling to divorce the two, even though we have a new political entity, as you say?
No, not at all. We had advice from industry experts in the branding and advertising space who help us to develop the name and the logo and the color. Certainly, this is a new, good political movement. We've registered with the IEC, and that will be the name that we are going to contest under the elections. The name is simple and authentic because we want to speak to people. We want to speak to the good people in South Africa who are prepared to build a good country and protect our democracy. Because I believe that if good people do nothing, that is when evil and corruption and all of those wrong things triumph in our country. But we also seek to bring in more young people into the political mainstream. And that's why we say we want to change the template of politics in South Africa. Then, of course, we've also designed 4 themes under which our policies will be developed. And the first theme is that we're going to seek spatial justice. Social justice, economic justice, and then also environmental justice. And so in the next couple of weeks, we will be putting in the detail. And then early in January, we will announce our manifesto, and we will then give the detailed policies, and we'll also announce our premier candidates. It's only 2 weeks ago that I made the announcements, and I promised South Africans that I will come back with a name for this movement. So we are hard at work, and everything is work in progress.
How confident are you, Mr. Lille, that this new entity, this new political baby is going to be a success, given the failures that we've seen in the recent past? I don't need to tell you about Rampela's experience. I don't need to tell you about Makosi Khoza, who got kicked out of her own party that she began.
Why did you only name women leaders? There are 10 times more male political parties that have failed. No, I find this on almost every interview. And I think it displays the patriarchal society that we live in, that women are weak. There are different reasons why they have failed, but so have 10 times more male political parties also failed.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Yes. I mean, there is the example of COPE, which recently broke away from the ANC. Yes. You have the UDM, for example, which I would perhaps want to see if I could explore some of their experiences around what you are trying to build here. Some people have actually said that the UDM is quite literally a regional party that locates itself in the Eastern Cape. You, on the other hand, you seem to have quite a presence and quite an affinity with the people of the Western Cape. Is that what we are going here? Are you going to become a regional party leader?
That's really the oversimplification of democracy. You know, we fought long and hard to attain this democracy. What we've seen is that, and people forget, only 24 years ago, political parties were banned. And what we see in our new democracy is a contestation for ideas. And we came up with the idea of mobilizing good South Africans to build a good country, and we will test that idea. And it's for the voters to decide. Yes, certainly people have their opinion about, but I'm happy that at the end it's not going to be analysts that's going to vote, but it's going to be the people on the ground. So I think we must provide that choice of an alternative. The research that we have done in terms of with Ipsos shows that there's a big percentage of South African voters that are very disillusioned with the status quo and the current political situation in our country. And certainly those would be the people that we target to say to them. But we are a national party. We've we are going to contest the elections on a national basis. We are going to contest in all 9 provinces, because we must move away from the geographic because of color and put people in a box. The voters of South Africa has moved on, and I think the media must follow suit, because there are good South Africans in all races, and that's what the good movement will be targeting.
Let me ask you this question then. What will be the value proposition? What is it that you are selling to South Africans? And by the way, might I remind you that in the coming elections, you're going to most probably have, in the majority, young people voting, some of them for the first time. So what is it that you are selling to them as a new political player in the field?
First, under the theme of spatial justice, no political party has addressed this since 1994. That is to deal with apartheid spatial planning. Race and space defined, where people get opportunities. And we need to look at our towns and cities, and because of urbanization and many more people moving there, so we will be focusing on spatial justice. But in terms of economic justice, you see also today, and we support the concept of BBBEE, but it must be properly implemented. But just take women in the economy today. We've seen feminization of poverty, but also in the labor market itself, where women are working, they are paid less than men. So there are many injustices in the social space, the economic space, and we will unpack all of those. But we will also address the critical issue of racism. Good South Africans are not racist. And therefore, we must say, as good South Africans, we will not allow racists to speak for us. And then, race defines too many things in our country, and political leaders seem to shy away from them. And that's why when we put the name together, what the name embodies is that we want to bring hope to South Africa. We want to start looking at reconciliation. And all of those things that have not been addressed in the past 24 years. Now, I'm not saying I can do it alone. I can say that together with good South Africans, we will be able to take our country forward.
Just as a final question to you, you mentioned the issue of racism, and you spoke about it a lot, coming from the political home in which you recently came from, the DA. And there seems to be, ructions there continuing. Recently, you have had the issue of John Steenhuisen post-matric qualifications, or perhaps should we say the lack thereof, and there's now moves to try and see if they could punish those who brought up this issue. What is the aim of your party? Are you aiming to try and see if you can make inroads into that party? Because you already also have had the leader of the EFF, Julius Malema, saying that you're coming into the political space, particularly in the Western Cape, is going to help them reduce the numbers for the DA in order to make the EFF number 2. Do you agree with those sentiments? Well,
let me start with the DA. In terms of what's happening in the DA is not adhering to one of their key values, and that is fairness. So what I fought for in the past 2 years was for fairness within the DA, to be treated exactly the same in terms of the DA constitution like anybody else. And therefore, I've won 3 court cases against them. They've accused me of corruption. I've not been found guilty of anything. They tried very hard to smear my name, and I've been able successfully to clear my name. Moving on to the EFF. The DA, for instance, now, they are campaigning to say to South Africans, don't vote for Patricia de Lille because she's going to go with the EFF and then she's going to take the Western Cape away from you. What they are not saying to South Africans, and because they think South Africans are stupid, it's right here in Johannesburg and in Tshwane, the DA and the EFF are in coalition together. Now, if the EFF is so bad, why don't they walk away from the coalitions? Coalitions is the future of our politics, because the law prescribed that to put a government together, you must have put 50% plus one elected representatives. And as the good movement, we're obviously going to go in and see if we garner as many votes as we can. But when they get into a situation where not one party gets a clear majority, then we obviously will engage with other political parties to comply with the law to bring together a government. Mm. Yeah.
Perhaps one slightly ageist question. Yeah. How do you hope to attract young people, 67-year-old, starting a new party? How do you hope to attract these young people to you?
Have you ever asked Cyril Ramaphosa what is his age? Have you seen President Zuma retired at 75 or even more? Now, it's always, when it comes to women, I can tell you, besides looking much younger than several men who are much younger than me, I've still got the energy and the passion in me to fight for this country. I love this country. I will not rest. I've got an option. I can go into retirement if I want to. But I choose, because it's my democratic right to choose, to go on to make sure that we build the base of all more South Africans to taste the fruits of our new democracy. You know what? The new 60 is now 40s. And women live much longer than men because we can multitask, we can do many other things. But my age is not a problem at all, you know.
All right. Thank you very much. Patricia de Lille, thanks indeed for having come through. The leader of the new Good Party.